A 1950s horror film? Oh yeah. The monster is some kind of aquatic creature and there's a bunch of fish science and themes of nature? Alright! They're making a comic adaptation with Dan Watters and Ram V writing it? Heck yeah, sign me up! The finished product? Eh. Howdy, I'm Kurt Williams, and today we're talking about issue 1 of The Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives by Dan Watters, Ram V, and Matthew Roberts. I had never seen the movie, so before reading the comic, I watched that. And I love retro sci-fi movies anyway, but that one in particular was very impressive. They got that kind of underwater footage in 1954? Breathtaking. And most of the main characters are like credible scientists who know what they're talking about and care about the conservation of nature. Even the female lead, even though she kind of ended up just being a pretty MacGuffin, was still a credible scientist. I loved all the shots of the fish, even though they were on site in Florida, not the actual Amazon, so the fish that they had were similar, but not the exact same fish that you would see in the Amazon. And I really loved that it was just an encounter with this creature. We didn't really learn anything about it. It was just a mystery that we got to experience with these characters. And there were subplots on the side, I guess, but the main point of the movie was that we were diving into the unknown. We're trying to figure out this cool new discovery. We're trying to understand the world around us. And so far, this comic does not really have that sense to it. We're following this reporter named Kate, who's in Peru looking for a guy who I'm pretty sure tried to drown her and successfully killed a bunch of other people. And she's convinced that he's here and she's gonna find him and bring him to justice. She's having a lot of nightmares. It seems like she has a lot of trauma from her attempted murder. But she's pushing through all this so that she can find this guy because she's pretty sure he's here and she's pretty sure that he's killing a bunch of people. But maybe it's not him. Maybe he's not there at all. Maybe there's some kind of creature in the river killing children. Who knows? I think that this first issue is already showing signs that there's too much trying to be crammed into a miniseries. We're only going to get 4 issues of this series and it feels very fast-paced already. It's a lot more telling rather than showing than I would expect from Dan Watters and Ram V, because normally they're very good at capturing moments. We spend a lot of time talking about drowning, which makes sense because water is a major theme in this series, I would hope. But the insights to drowning that it offers don't really seem that unique. They seem like the typical insights that you would expect from anybody talking about drowning in their spare time. It doesn't exactly ooze poetic language is what I'm saying. I do really like this double splash we get at the very beginning where we see Peru from way out there and then we zoom into a shop and we see her running through it and then we zoom in on these little wooden touristy figurines that look like the creature from the Black Lagoon. It's very cinematic, and even though it looks nothing like the cinematography of the movie itself, it still feels kind of classic. But then after that we spend a lot of time following Kate around, and I have to admit that I just don't like her character very much. I don't feel like I'm connected with her at all, and maybe that's because I just don't have the same experiences as her, but how many people reading this comic have been a victim of attempted murder by drowning? And Kate is really the only character that we get to spend any significant time with in the whole issue, so if you don't like her, then you probably don't like the issue as a whole. And we don't really get a good look at the creature until the very last page, so if you bought this issue hoping that you get lots of creature, you're probably gonna be disappointed. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like any part of it though. There's a few things that I do really like this scene where she tries to bribe the guy at the morgue so that she can see a body, and then he said the body is spoken for with a bigger bribe than this. I just think the humor of that moment stands out in the comic. This moment where a bird comes and tries to catch a fish, but the fish gets away is a kind of cool moment, even though it's clearly just a plot device so that she can trauma dump on us. It is cool to see how much effort they put into getting this fish right. That's a type of arapaima. I think it's an arapaima giga, and they get like 7 feet long, sometimes closer to 14 feet. That's what you might call some Jeremy Wade bait right there. I like this panel a lot where the creature is lurking in the bushes and he kind of melts out from them with his glowing eyes. And then in a similar vein, I like this panel where he's emerging from the depths of the river to come save her. But honestly, other than those few panels, I don't really love the art here. You know, maybe it's a style, but to me it just looks kind of unfinished and scratchy, like non-committal. Maybe there wasn't a very complete vision to it. Also, I feel like the acting is just not very well done. The expressions that characters have are kind of blunt, I guess is how I would put it. They don't seem very nuanced. There is an argument to be made that the art is a little bit simpler, maybe a little bit more cartoony than usual because they want to capture that campy feel of a 50s sci-fi movie. Maybe. But man, wouldn't Charles Vess just knock this out of the park? So I'm gonna keep this review kind of short, partly because it's past my bedtime and partly because because I just don't have much to say about this. It really didn't impress me that much. I mean, obviously the movie is a timeless classic and it's really hard to compete with that, but I would have to say between the two, I would much prefer the movie. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe we'll see more of the creature as the story goes and it won't seem so much just like Kate's problems with creature on the side. I have a lot of faith in the writing team, at least. I bet it'll get at least a little bit better. So I'm gonna rate issue 1 of Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives like a high 6. It just wasn't that memorable. It didn't feel very unique. I definitely don't feel impacted by it at all. But as always, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe you have an insight that I don't have. So if you've read it, let me know what you think. And if you think that my opinion is wrong, please enlighten me. So throw your thoughts down in the comments and I'll see you later. Goodbye.